Welcome back to the feature presentation where movies and music meet. I'm your host, Finale, and once again, for the full review, we have Transformers Rise of the Beasts. I'm so excited. I couldn't really go off on the last one. It was a non-spoiler review. This one, I'm letting all the cats out the bag, all right? So be warned, full spoilers ahead. Now, I'm a major Beast Wars fan, all right? For other people that were Beast Wars fans, here we go. If you were a Beast Wars fan, you are going to enjoy this. Now, my favorite character did not show up, but I see what they're doing here. They did not let everything go on this first one. They didn't blow their load. They are setting up for something big, all right? But you got Optimus Primal. You have Rhinox. You have Cheetor. You have Air Razor. You have key players. But there are no Decepticons in this. And there are no Predacons. So at first glance, when I was in there, I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on? How do you have Autobots with no Decepticons? How do you have Maximals with no Predacons? It wasn't adding up. But after you get to the mid-credit scene, I would say, you see what they're doing. And I'm gonna get into that. But I need to go into more depth of the movie, right? Because it's heavily influenced from the animated series Beast Wars, all right? And that's what they're building up to. That's why this is called Rise of the Beast, because they are leading up to the Beast Wars. That's why you have no Predacons in this one. It seems like they're building up to that because that is the major threat, the big threat. In this, you do have Unicron. So when you have Unicron, you have Primus, all right? They're leading up to this. They're going to lead up to this big all-out war between Autobots, Decepticons, Maximals, Predacons, Unicron, and Primus, all right? So the movie is based on what's in the Beast Wars, the Transwarp Drive. They might call it something different in this, just one word different. I don't know if they say Transwarp Drive. They might say Transwarp Device, but it's based on the Transwarp Drive where they can actually travel through the timelines. They can travel pretty much the multiverse. Transformers is tapping into the multiverse now. Everybody is following Marvel's suit, all right? So everybody's hitting you with multiverses. You're probably going to see Barbie face off with Thanos somewhere in the future. Who knows? Like, they're really doing it. But this movie was fun, all right? It was fun. You have the human characters, which didn't take away. Most of these movies, if you have, whether it's monsters or creatures or robots or anything like that, that's non-human or non-organic, and you add human element, usually the human element takes away from it. No, this one, they focused on the Transformers, they focus on the Maximals, they focus on the Autobots. Now, the enemies, what you have, which were basically sent here by way of Unicron, is called Terracons. Now, if you're not into the Transformers franchise, you're not going to know what a Terracon is. A Terracon is pretty much a zombie Decepticon. So think of a robot that is a zombie. It doesn't make sense because our technology doesn't work that way, but that's what a Terracon is. They are a thing, and they're worthy adversaries. So in this movie, you have these Terracons. They're holding back because when I get into the spoiler of that mid-credit scene, the theater did not know how to act. I lost my mind. I'm like, what is going on here? To digress and go back into the story, and so you know really where they're coming from, you have something called Energon, all right? It's pretty much a crystal. You can find it here on Earth in the franchise. They come here looking for Energon. It is a power source. It can power the warp drive. It can bring back an Autobot or a Decepticon. It could bring back a Predacon. It could bring back a Maximal if they use it right and they harness this energy right. Going back to crystals, because, crystals are a powerful source. Checking all your computers. It is a quartz crystal that stores the energy. They're telling you something, pay attention. They can bring these entities back. Spoiler ahead, Bumblebee gets clipped kind of early. That is going to leave a lot of you guys butthurt. As I said, this is a spoiler review, so I'm going to be letting a lot go. Bumblebee dies very early on. It seems they took a note out of the 80s Transformers cartoon movie and killed main characters off real quick. So it is left to Mirage as to be this movie's Bumblebee. Bumblebee sits this movie out. He sits on the sidelines mostly because he's dead. He got killed. He got waxed early. But they bring him back because of the Energon. All right. Later in the movie, he comes back. And when he comes back, I said it before in the non-spoiler review, the way this is heavily influenced with hip-hop. You know, Bumblebee can't talk. He uses the radio and movies and influences. When he wakes back up and he comes back for the main fight, he plays LL Cool J. Don't call us a comeback. Man, listen, this movie was crazy. When they with the references of the music, the hip-hop was so heavy in it, man. You have Wu-Tang everywhere. Tribe Called Quest. It is all over the place. Now, they did, which I don't think it was a mess up. The movie took place in 1994. They did play Biggie Smalls' "Hypnotize," which that didn't come out until 96. But it wasn't played in the movie as they were listening to it. It was just like a record over the atmosphere. So I'm not really going to say that's a mess up, but, you know, it kind of throws it off because you have a record that's playing in a movie that was based 2 years before the record was dropped. But major spoiler ahead. The biggest, and it's kind of sad to say because the movie was fun and great in my opinion. That mid-credit spoiler, it was so quiet. It was so subtle. Nobody said anything. All right. Anthony Ramos' character, he goes in for a job interview. He was trying to get a job the whole movie. He couldn't get a job. You know, he's having the same struggle that most people have in the ghetto. In this movie, his little brother has sickle cell. They can't pay his medical bills. You know, he's trying to get a job. He's ex-military, but he went AWOL, so he's not seen as reliable. Nobody wants to hire him. He's, you know, of colored descent. You know, he's having a rough time. The cliche trope, but it's all realistic, actually. He gets called in at the end of the movie after he helps save the world. You know, nobody really is supposed to know. And he's in there sitting for the interview. It's quiet, just him, one guy. He pretty much is asking him questions and kind of leaning towards, we know what you did. And he hands him a card that says, we would really enjoy, and appreciate and need your help. You know, you can be a valuable asset here. And you're sitting there waiting well, where's here? And you're thinking it's the same division from the 2007 Transformers. And the camera pans down as he looks down at the card and it says G.I. Joe. What? What? Transformers and G.I. Joe in the same universe. What are they leading up to? This is why I was a little disappointed during the movie because I was waiting to see my favorite beasts, my favorite Maximal, who was also a Predacon, but was a Maximal. We're not going to get into that. It has to do with the animated cartoon Dinobot. I was waiting to see Megatron. I was waiting to see Pterosaur, Waspinator, Scorponok, all these characters. But now I know why. Because when they pull up, the Transformers, the Autobots, the Maximals, they're going to need G.I. Joe. I still am trying to wrap my head around it. The whole entire theater went upside down. Everybody had the same reaction. All you see is a card say G.I. Joe. We're like, what the f***? It was wild. So I have only been blessed to see this one time. I'm going to stand by my 3.5 slates on first impressions. I will watch it no less than 2 more times. All right? I need to go back. I need to study and I need to see what I missed. But it was good. To me, it was the best. The human characters are not annoying. Anthony Ramos, he is playing where he's from. Dominique Fishback, she nails it. She's like a female Indiana Jones. It gave me Indiana Jones vibes. It gave me real hip hop, in the street vibes. It's incredible how they did this for a Transformers movie. I'm still wrapping my head around it. The song choices, phenomenal. The opening scene, within the first 5 minutes, they're playing Wu-Tang Cream. I'm like, wait, what are we watching right now? What are we watching? It's a Transformers movie. Please go see this movie. If you are a Transformers fan, if you are a Beast Wars fan, this is it. If you are a G.I. Joe fan, it is on the way. Feature presentation. I am Finale. I'm out.